Ladies and gentlemen, how are we? Today we are talking about discovery. So the video starts with 3D, the scope of discovery, in-depth external, exploration external, perspective internal. They kind of have bullet points, right? And then I have a note. On a break, I discover how I see things. Perspective. When researching, I explore things. Exploratory. And when working, there's depth. Look at it. On a break, I discover how I see things, which is perspective. When I am not involved, I actually have access to that perspective, or at the very least, I'm able to observe it. Again, I'm literally trying to understand what I wrote. When researching, I explore things, and when working, I dive into depths of things. So, so the top three and the bottom three are basically connected to each other. And all of them are the three dimensions of exploration. The scope of exploration, which is three dimensions. So let's write it out. Under normal circumstances, what unites an experience? It's definitely not knowledge, because if you know something, then you know that you don't know anything at all. Or the more you know, the more you realize you know nothing at all, right? But then when it comes to understanding, you truly only understand something once you're able to express it fully. And that's where the experience kind of like builds up. And what unites the knowledge and understanding is the perspective you have that keeps changing as you move. So it's back to the three things that I always talk about. And here, basically, perspective is internal, depth is external, and exploration is external as well. So what you're doing is you're exploring something. That's when you're researching. So you're getting to know what you're doing. And then depth occurs as you build a relationship with it. And as you build a relationship with it, what happens? Your perspective changes of it, which automatically changes how you explore, which automatically changes the depth, which automatically changes your perspective. And that's basically the cycle of threes. Now, here I'm trying to explain it in 3D. And the truth is, if you look at it from a chart's perspective, normal charts are like this, right? X axis and Y axis, up and down. So if you take any point and you move it on the chart, think of where it hits the x-axis and when it hits the y-axis. It becomes like a square rectangle thing. Now imagine if it's moving like this, or forward or backward. That's the third dimension, right? So this is the first dimension, and everything that comes from here up here is the first dimension. Here is the second dimension, and then back and forth is the third dimension. It's the best way things are explained. There's actually a video on it somewhere on YouTube that's super intense. This random dude that does one video and then he disappears for eventually enough years and then comes back again or something. So idea is simple. Let's apply that to getting to know something. There are three factors that I considered here. One is the exploration. One is my own position when it comes to it. And the third is basically the depth, the Z axis, the back and forth, right? It's the three-dimensional outlook. Like a picture that's two-dimensional versus another picture that's three-dimensional. The only difference is the shading, because it allows you to see beyond the actual direct paper, right? It kind of like makes it pop out, it gives it like different shades of the same color that allows you to see as if light is pushing on you, right? Like this face versus this face, because the light is coming from this side. So this side has more light, and this side seems to be going in a deeper direction. I can't, that's what depth is. So, and here I'm making it a note, like on a break, I discover how I see things because like I'm crucially highlighting the fact that you kind of have to step out of the relationship. You have to step out of the exploration and you have to step out of the actual like you're in the moment with whatever it is you're doing. You're so involved, you can't see how it's basically designed. That moment. It doesn't mean you're no longer in a flow or you're no longer in the moment. You are in the moment, but you're in the moment from a different position. So when you do that, you get the chance to actually look at it. And people say that all the fucking time, right? Like take a step back, see things differently. Well, how the fuck are you supposed to kind of like translate that? I think I figured enough of it out. Because ultimately I realized anytime I'm not doing anything is when my mind is looking at the things that I've done, which is basically the perspective approach. Because ultimately I'm taking a break from them, from doing them, which gives me the chance to actually like gives me the chance to kind of like see them from a from the third dimension. Not that I'm saying what we do is linear, but again, it's very two-dimensional because when you're doing something, you're kind of like exploring, and as you explore, you kind of gain some depth. So when you're researching something and then you're kind of like applying it, and as you research and apply, like this is research and this is application. You research and then you apply. Then you apply to a point where you need to research more, and then you research to a point where you need to start applying in order for whatever you research to find a place. This is a relationship. This is a relevant one, but it's two-dimensional. But then ultimately, what we have to do, I think this is where the three-body problem clicks in, right? Because for you to be able to, you can always see where you are in terms of discovery, like what are you perceiving and what you are exploring, or what you are exploring and what you are perceiving, or what you are perceiving, oh, sorry, what you are exploring and what you are working on, which is depth. So it's always two of the three that are very accurate. The third one, you kind of have to like look at it from the external angle in order to be able to like revisit it. So the idea of positioning here is basically you can only look at two dimensions at a time, and you can only do that from the third dimension that you're using. So I'm either looking at my exploration purpose, my exploration states, and the depth that I'm in, but I can't see my perspective because that's what I'm using in order to understand them. I can either look at my perspective and what I'm exploring, but I can't understand how deep I am. So I can see them, understand them, but I can't understand how deep I am. It's something that's not really, that cannot be calculated. But the best you could do is just anytime you jump from one to another, what you do is just kind of like, let's read the, anytime you jump from one to another, you have a clearer view of the balance too. And by doing that allows us to grow without us forcing anything. The three body problem. Just want to make sure that this is it, man. I'm actually like the three body problem is a novel. Uh, Science. Three-body problem is a refers to the challenge of predicting the motion of three celestial bodies that are mutually gravitationally interacting. Unlike simpler two-body systems, the three-body problem is complex and chaotic. So, so three-body problem is already an issue for scientists. Imagine four dimensions. And as human beings right now, what I'm trying to like approach is to be able to see how deep you are in something, how you perceive it, and how you are exploring it. These are three variables that are always changing anytime one of them moves. So how the hell am I supposed to calculate that? I don't think I should, or I don't think it could relevantly be considered. Because ultimately, the reason for this is for me to understand my position is beyond two dimensions. It's beyond what I'm doing and where I am. Or it also includes the relationship that I have with it. So maybe that maybe that's what I'm trying to talk about. I have no fucking idea now. But I love you guys, and it's an interesting thing to kind of like realize I wrote, because I wrote this a while back. So I love you guys. Thank you, and peace out. The video.